I'm Melissa Fowlke, and you're going to be watching my second grade class reading fairy tale stories which they use to do their fairy tale projects with.
Hennessy.
I'm at Hennessy School.
Hi, my name is Thomas, and I'm going to read Rumpelstiltskin. The little girl did not know what to do. She began to weep once more. The door opened and the little man stepped in. "What will you give me if I spin this straw into gold for you?" he asked. "The ring on my finger," answered the girl, and the little man took her ring. Then he set the spinning wheel ring before the night was over, he had spun all the straw into gleaming gold. Shortly after sunrise, the king returned. Piles of gold spools glowed in the morning light. The king rejoiced at the sight of so much gold, but still he was not satisfied. He led the miller's daughter to a third, even bigger room that was piled high with straw. "Tonight you must spin this straw to gold, too," ordered the king, "and if you succeed, you shall become my wife," because he thought I could not find a richer wife in all the world.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to me read. If you would like to hear this at your local library, or you could hear the end at your local library. My name is Patrick, and I am going to be reading Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Once there was a reindeer named Rudolph who lived at the North Pole in Toyland. Rudolph was younger and smaller than the other reindeer there. They all had proud, tall antlers. Rudolph's antlers were only tiny stubs. Worst of all, Rudolph had a nose that was big and bright red. It was so red it glowed in the dark.
Turn the page. No.
Show me where you are, Patrick.
Poor Rudolph. He wanted to be like the other reindeer in Toyland. Oh, to have a small brown nose instead of a big, bright red one. Very last page.
Oh, the red.
Yeah. Then down through the clouds and over the sleeping houses, Santa and his team flew on that foggy Christmas Eve, and leading the whole procession was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So if you see a soft glow in the sky on Christmas Eve, you can be sure that Rudolph The most famous reindeer of all is very near. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glowed like a light bulb. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names like they never let poor Rudolph play any reindeer games like football. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, ho, 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 Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeers loved him, as they shouted out with glee, yippee! Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history like Columbus. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to me read. If you would like to find out more in this book, check it out at your local library.
Now clap.
The horseback.
My name.
My name is Charles, and I'm going to read The Prince and the Pauper. The horseback riding lesson did not go any better. Mickey kept falling off the horse. The prince was... No, the first page. Once upon a time, there was a good and kindly king. He ruled the country with fairness and gracefully, but one day the king became very ill and he could no longer reach over his kingdom. Soon the prince wandered by his father's bed. Beside his father's bed.
Huh?
Yeah. If you want to check out this book, check it out at the local library.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once upon a time.
Your name.
Oh, my name is Rich Ryan. I'm going to be reading The Gingerbread Boy. Once upon a time, there lived a little old woman and a little old man. They had no boy or girl of their own, so they lived all by themselves in the little house. In a little old house.
Page.
One day, the little old woman was baking a gingerbread. I will make a little gingerbread boy, she said. So she rolled the dough out flat and cut it in the shape of a little boy. She made him 2 good sizzling feet. Then she gave him eyes and a mouth of red hots, and currants, and stuck on a cinnamon drop for a nose. She put a roll of raisins down the front of his jacket for buttons. There, she said, now we'll have a little gingerbread boy for our own.
Next page. Okay.
She put him in the pan, plopped him into the oven, and closed the door. Then she went back about her work, sweeping and cleaning, cleaning and sweeping. And she forgot all about the gingerbread boy. Meanwhile, he baked brown all over and got very hot. Oh my, said the little old woman at last, sniffing the air. The gingerbread boy is burning.
Time out.
Okay. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the ending of this story, check it out at your local library or the Hennessy Library.
Hi, my name is Lindsay, and I'm going to be reading The Elves and the Shoemaker. So together, the shoemaker and his wife thought of a plan. Instead of going to sleep that night, they hid behind the curtains in the shop. At midnight, 2 tiny elves came into the room. The shoemaker and his wife were amazed as the elves stitched and sewed and hammered. Soon the bench was filled with tiny new shoes. The moment their work was finished, the elves vanished. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to figure out the end of this story, please check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Audrey, and I'm going to be reading a passage from The Magic Fish. Then she said to the fisherman, "Go back to the fish. Tell him I want more than that castle. Tell him I want to be queen of the land." "Why?" asked the fisherman. "Never mind why," said his wife. "Go back to the fish. Tell him I must be queen of the land." "I don't want to go," said the fisherman. Go back, said his wife. So the fisherman went back to the sea. Then the man called, "A fish in the sea, come listen to me. My wife gets a fish from the magic fish." Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the ending of the story, check it out in your local library.
Hi, my name is Amy, and I'm going to be reading Cinderella. Cinderella watched with amazement as her fairy godmother began to chat, giving each of the things she asked for a tap with her magic wand. A plump orange pumpkin, I told, would make a fine carriage of crystal and gold. Little mice, very nice, will be 2 footmen in a trice. Here, old rat, a playful pat. Now you're a coachman, jolly and fat. Lizards will complete our needs. They'll become 4 stamping seeds. Now Cinderella, ordered the fairy, fetch me the following: guinea full feathers of bottles of blue, moth wings and cobwebs sprinkled with dew. I'll mix them with berries and sapphires and dress you in gossamer with slippers of glass. There, cried the fairy triumphantly, you're ready for the royal ball. With a cry of joy, Cinderella sprang into her carriage. Beware, Cinderella, called her fairy godmother. You must leave the ball by midnight. The
the spell will vanish. The carriage and horses and footman you grown, everything will despair. When the clock strikes 12, I will remember, called Cinderella, waving goodbye. From the moment Cinderella entered the ballroom, the prince would dance with no other partners. Her wicked sisters did not even recognize her. Everyone wondered who this beautiful stranger could be. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to check this out at your local library, you can.
Hi, my name is Danny Foley, and I'm going to read The Magic Fish. Once upon a time, there was a poor fisherman. He lived with his wife in an old hut by the sea. Every day he went fishing. One day the fisherman felt something on the end of his line. He pulled and he pulled, and up came a big fish. "Put me back into the water," said the fish. "I am a magic fish. I am really a prince." "Well," said the man, "if you are a prince, I will put you back into the water," and he did. That night, his wife asked him, why didn't you catch any fish today?" "I did catch a fish," said the man, "but he was a magic fish. He said he was really a prince, so I let him go." "Silly man," said his wife. "Why didn't you make a wish? Go back to the fish. Tell him I wish for a pretty house." "Why?" asked the man. "Never mind why," said his wife. "Go back to the fish and tell the fish I want a pretty house." "I don't want to go," said the man. "Go," said his wife. So the fisherman went back to the sea. The fisherman called, "Oh, fish in the sea, come listen to me. My wife begs a wish from the magic fish." "What does she want?" asked the fish. "She wants a pretty house," said the man. "Go home," said the fish. "Go home," the fish said. "Now your wife has a pretty house." So the man went home.
Good morning. It is going to be a rainy day recess. Thank you.
The old hut was gone. Now there was a pretty house. If you want to hear the rest of this book, you can check it out at your local library. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm going to be reading Cinderella. When Cinderella came into the room, the Grand Duke says, "Let up, your grace." She said, "May I try on the slipper?" The wicked stepmother foamed with anger. She tripped over Bag Boy, who was holding the glass slipper. It fell onto the floor and broke into 1,000 pieces. And the Grand Duke was horrified. But not Cinderella. "Don't worry," she said, reaching into her pocket. "I have the other one right here." She put it on the slipper and of course, it fit perfectly. From that moment on, everything was a dream come true. Cinderella went off to the palace with the happy Grand Duke. She and the prince were soon married. Her happiness, Cinderella didn't forget about her friends. Bruno the dog and the horse, the birds, Gus and Jock, and other mice. They all moved into the castle with her. Everyone in the kingdom was delighted with the prince's new bride. Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name's Caitlin Carmen. I'm going to read Beauty and the Beast. As Belle wept, the last petal fell. Suddenly the rain began to shimmer and sparkle. Belle looked up and saw the air burning with magic. The Beast's eyes blinked open. His paws had been transformed into human hands. He touched his face and found that it was smooth. The spell was broken. The white wilted rose had burst into full bloom. Belle, it's me, said the prince. As Cogworth, Lumiere, and Mrs. Potts looked on joyfully, the magic swirled around them too. Cogworth turned into a short, round, puzzly majordomo with a mustache. Lumiere grew taller and taller until a servant and dazing
Until a suave and dashing maitre d'
hotel stood in his place. Mrs. Potts was transformed into the plump, smiling cook she had been before the spell, and Belle gazed happily at the handsome prince whom her love had returned to human form. One by one, the members of the prince's household became human again. They hugged each other with tears, joy, as the magic carried Belle and the prince into the ballroom. There they began to dance. Afterward, they stood on the balcony as the sun broke through the mist that had shrouded the castle for so long. The sun shone on the beautiful Belle and her handsome prince, whose love had finally broken the spell. Thank you for listening to me read this book.
Then she... Oh. Hi, my name's Audra, and I'm going to read The Magic Fish. Then she said to the fisherman, "Go back to the fish. Tell him I want more than the castle. Tell him I want to be queen of the land." "Why?" asked the fisherman. "Never mind why," said the woman. "Go back to the fish and tell him I must be queen of the land. I don't want to go, said the fisherman. Go, said the wife. So the man went back to the sea. The man called, "Oh, fish in the sea, come listen to me. My wife begs a wish from the magic fish." "Well," said the fish, "what does she want this time?" Said, "She wants to be queen of the land," said the man. "Go home," said the fish. "Now your wife is queen of the land." So the fisherman went home. His wife was in the castle. She was sitting on a stone made of gold, and she wore a dress made of gold and a crown made of gold. So said the man, "Now you are queen of the land. That is a fine thing to be at last. At last we can be happy." And the fisherman was happy. His wife was happy too, and she was happy for 3 weeks. Then she said to the fisherman, "Go back to the fish. Tell him I want to be more than queen of the land. Tell him I want to be queen of the sun and the moon and the stars." "But why?" asked the fisherman. "Never mind why," she said. "Just go back to the fish. Tell him I want to be queen of the sun and the moon and the stars." "I don't want to go," said the fisherman. The fish Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the end of this book, check it out at your local library. Hi, my name's Colleen Johnson. I'm gonna read The Magic Fish. Then she said to the man, "Go back to the fish. Tell him I want more than a pretty house. I want to live in a castle." "Why?" asked the man. "Never mind why," said the woman. "Go back and tell the fish I want a castle." "But I don't want to go," said the man. "Go," said his wife. So the man went back to the sea. The man called, "Oh, fish in the sea, come listen to me. My wife begs a wish from the magic fish." "Well," asked the fish, "what does she want now?" "She wants a castle," said the man. "Go home." The fish said, "Now your wife has a castle." So the man went home. The pretty house was gone, and there was a castle. "This is a beautiful castle," said the fisherman to his wife. We will be happy here." "We shall see," said his wife. The fisherman was happy, and his wife was happy too. She was happy for 2 weeks. Then she said to the fisherman, "Go back to the fish. Tell him I want more than a castle. Tell him I want to be queen of the land." "Why?" asked the fisherman. "Never mind why," said the woman. Go back to the fish and tell him I must be queen of the land. But I I don't want to go, said the fisherman. Go, said his wife. So the man went back to the sea. The man called, "Oh, fish in the sea, come listen to me. My wife begs a wish from the magic fish." "Well," said the fish, "what does she want this time?" "She wants to be queen of the land," said the fish. No, said the man. "Go home," said the fish. "Now your wife is queen of the land." So the fisherman went home. His wife was in the castle. She was sitting on a throne made of gold. And she wore a dress made of gold and a crown made of gold. "So," said the man, that is fine thing to be. We shall see," said his wife. And the fisherman was happy. His wife was happy too. She was happy for 3 weeks. Thank you for letting me read. If you want to hear the end of this book, check it out at the local library.
Hi, my name is Clarice, and I'm going to read the book The Magic Fish. So the man went home. The pretty house was gone, and there was the castle. "This is a beautiful castle," said the fisherman to his wife. "We'll be happy here." "We shall see," said his wife. The fisherman was happy, and his wife was happy too. She was happy for 2 weeks. Then she said to the fisherman, "Go back to the fish. Tell him I want more than a castle. Tell him I want to be queen of the land." "Why?" asked the fisherman. "Never mind why," said the woman. "Go back to the fish and tell him I must be queen of the land." "I don't want to go," said the fisherman. "Go," said his wife. So the man went back to the sea. The man called, "Oh, fish in the sea, come listen to me. My wife begs a wish from the magic fish." Well, said the fish. "What does she want this time?" "She wants to be queen of the land," said the man. "Go home," said the fish. Now your wife is queen of the land." So the fisherman went home. His wife was in the castle. She was sitting on a throne made of gold, and she wore a dress made of gold and a crown made of gold. "So," said the fisherman, said the man, "now you are queen of the land. That is fine thing to be. At last we can be happy." "We shall see," said his wife, and the fisherman was happy. His wife was happy too. His wife was happy for 3 weeks. Then she said to the fisherman, "Go back to the fish. Tell him I want to be more than queen of the land. Tell him I want to be queen of the sun and the moon and the stars." "But why?" asked the fisherman. "Never mind why," she said. "Just go back to the fish. Tell him I want to be queen of the sun
and the moon and the stars. I don't want to go, said the man. The fish will be angry. Go, said his wife. Time's up. If you want to hear the end of this story, check it out at the local library.
Name, your name.
My name is Joshua Sporney, and I am going to read Aladdin. Aladdin feared Aladdin feared they were trapped forever, but Abu still had the lamp. Aladdin took the old lamp and tried to rub off some of the dust. Poof! In a flash of colorful, swirling smoke, a gigantic genie appeared. Say, you don't look like my last master, he said. Aladdin, but you still have 3 wishes, and no wishing more wishes. Aladdin was stunned. 3 wishes? He intended to make good use of them, but first he tricked the genie into whisking them out of the cave on a magic carpet. Unsure of what to wish for, first Aladdin asked the genie what he would wish for. Surprised at the question, the genie replied, I would wish for freedom. So Aladdin promised to use his 3rd wish to set the genie free. But his first wish was to be a prince so that he can marry Princess Jasmine. At the same time, in the palace at Agrabah, Jafar had used his serpent staff to hypnotize the Sultan. The poor Sultan was about to agree that Jafar could marry Jasmine. Suddenly they heard the sounds of a parade. The spell was broken, and the Sultan rushed to the balcony inside to see the arrival of a grand prince. It was Aladdin. The genie had granted the young man's first wish. Aladdin entered the throne room. Your Majesty, he said, bowing to the Sultan, I am a Prince Ali Ababwa. I have come to seek your daughter's hand in marriage. The Sultan was thrilled. The law stated that Jasmine must marry a prince before her next birthday, which was only days away. But the princess did not want to marry Prince Ali. He was not in love with him. Thank you for listening to me read. If you would like to hear the end of the book, check it out at your local library.
My name is Frankie, and I'm going to read The 3 Bears. When the little wee bear looked at his bed, somebody has been laying in my bed, and here she is, cried the little wee bear in his little wee voice. This woke Goldilocks up at once. There were the 3 bears all staring at her. Goldilocks was so frightened that she tumbled out of bed and ran to the open window. Out she jumped, and she ran away as fast as she could, never looking behind her. No one knows what happened to Goldilocks after that. As for the 3 bears, they never saw her again. Thank you for listening to me read.
We like reading!
What do you like?
Reading!
What grade are you in?
2nd!
And what school do you go to?
Hennessy!
What's the best school in...
Hennessy! Bye.